I am Aligar Lingappa, Assistant Professor in Physics, Government First Grade College, Sirguppa. Today, I am going to discuss about the chapter Diffraction of Light, Fresnel's explanation of a rectilinear propagation of light. What we know that rectilinear propagation of light means the light which travels along a straight path in a given medium. So here Fresnel he gave an idea about rectilinear propagation of light. Say here the diagram that indicates ABCD, so-called plane wavefront. So which emits light which are propagating towards positive x-axis. ABCD is a plane wavefront of monochromatic light of wavelength lambda. The wavefront is perpendicular to the plane of the paper. Let P be a point at a distance B from the wavefront at which intensity due to the wave is to be determined. Fresnel assumed the wavefront to be divided into number of concentric off-period zones called Fresnel off-period zones, and O be the pole of the wavefront. Let OM1, OM2, OM3, etc. OMN be the radii of concentric circles. So you see, this is ABCD, wavefront. Here the wavefront which can be divided into the number of concentric circles, say n number of concentric circles of radii M1, M2, M3, etc. up to Mn. Let P be a point at a distance B from the wavefront. So then this is what about Fresnel assumed, where ABCD is a plane wavefront of monochromatic light of wavelength lambda. The wavefront is perpendicular to plane of the paper. Let P be a point at a distance B from the wavefront at which intensity due to the wave is to be determined. Fresnel assumed the wavefront to be divided into number of concentric off-period zones called Fresnel off-period zones, and O be the pole of the wavefront. Let OM1, OM2, OM3, etc. OMN be the radii of concentric circles. The wavelets from any two consecutive zones reach the point P with a phase difference of pi or a path difference of lambda by 2 or a time difference of off-period. Such zones are called Fresnel's off-period zones. A radius of first off-period zone OM1 square, which is equal to M1P square minus QP square. Then R1 square is equal to B plus lambda by 2 whole square minus B square. Therefore, OM1 square is equal to B lambda. So further, R1 square is equal to B square plus lambda square by 4 plus 2A lambda by 2 minus B square. Here plus B square and minus B square, they get cancel each other. Lambda square by 4 is neglected because lambda is very less than that of B. So then finally we will get R1 square is equal to B lambda. Then R1 is equal to root of B lambda, so called the radius of the first off-period zone. So similarly for radius of second off-period zone, OM square is equal to M2P square minus OP square. which is equal to b plus 2 lambda by 2 whole square minus b square, where m2 p square which is equal to b plus 2 lambda by 2 whole square. This is from the diagram. So then r2 square is equal to b square plus 4 lambda square by 4 plus 2a lambda by 2 minus b square. Then after simplification we will get r2 square is equal to 2b lambda. Then r2 is equal to root of 2b lambda. So called the expression of a radius of the second of period Joule. Similarly, the radius of a third half period Joule, r3 is equal to root of 3b lambda. The radius of nth half period Joule, rn is equal to root of nb lambda. The radius of n minus 1th half period Joule, rn minus 1 is equal to root of n minus 1 into b lambda. So then finally we say that rn is proportional to root n. So the radius of nth half period Joule is directly proportional to the square of the square root of the natural numbers. So the radii of the half period Joules are proportional to the square root of the natural numbers. Rn is proportional to root n. So then the area of half period Joules, area of nth half period Joule, which is given by an, which is equal to pi into om n whole square minus pi into om n minus 1 whole square. So further an is equal to pi into om n whole square minus pi into nb lambda minus n minus 1 b lambda. Then an is equal to pi into nb lambda minus nb lambda plus b lambda. Then an is equal to pi b lambda. So this is the expression for the area of half period Joules. So from this expression we concluded that thus the area of all half period Joules are equal. The area of half period Joules is an independent of n, independent of natural number. So area of the half period Joule, an is equal to pi b lambda. So from this we say that the area of the half period Joule, which is an independent of natural numbers, the area of all half period Joules are equal. The amplitude of the disturbance at P due to an individual zone is directly proportional to the area of the zone, inversely proportional to the distance of the point P from the given zone. The obliquity factor 1 plus cos theta, where theta is the angle between the normal to the zone and the line joining the zone to the point P. So that means the amplitude of the disturbance at P due to an individual zone which depend on three factors. So directly proportional to the area of the zone, inversely proportional to the distance of the point P from the given zone. The obliquity factor, say 1 plus cos theta. Then the resultant amplitude due to the whole wavefront, the path difference between any two consecutive period zones is lambda by 2. And hence the waves from two consecutive zones will reach the point P in opposite phase. Then the resultant amplitude at P due to entire wavefront, which is given by R is equal to R1 minus R2 plus R3 minus R4 plus etc. plus minus 1 over to the power of n minus 1 Rn. Let this is equation number 1. But R2 is equal to R1 plus R3 by 2. Let this is equation number 2. And R4 is equal to R3 plus R5 by 2. Let this is equation number 3. So therefore, if n is odd number, then the R is equal to R1 by 2 plus R1 by 2 minus R2 plus R3 by 2 plus R3 by 2 minus R4 plus R5 by 2 plus etc. plus Rn by 2. Let this is equation number 4. This is for when n is odd. If n is even number, then the resultant amplitude which becomes R is equal to R1 by 2 plus R1 by 2 minus R2 plus R3 by 2 plus R3 minus R3 by 2 minus R4 plus R5 by 2 plus etc. plus Rn minus 1 by 2 into Rn. Let this is equation number 5. From equations 2 and 3, then equation 4 and 5 becomes R is equal to R1 by 2 plus Rn by 2 if n is odd number, and R is equal to R1 by 2 plus Rn minus 1 by 2 minus Rn if n is even number. R for, so that means if n is odd number, R for if n is even number. If n is larger, Rn minus 1 is almost equal to Rn. Therefore, Rn minus 1 by 2 minus Rn, which is equal to Rn by 2 minus Rn, which is equal to minus Rn by 2. Then R is equal to R1 by 2 minus R1 by 2 if n is even number. Say in general, R is equal to R1 by 2 plus or minus Rn by 2. If n is large, then Rn is almost 0. Therefore, R is equal to R1 by 2. Thus, the resultant amplitude at a point P is equal to half of the amplitude due to the first of period joule. So, the resultant amplitude at a point P is equal to half of the amplitude due to the first of period zone. Say R is equal to R1 by 2. Intensity at a point P due to plane wavefront. Intensity is directly proportional to square of the amplitude. That is, I is proportional to R square. I is proportional to R1 by 2 whole square. I is proportional to R1 square by 4. Then intensity at a point P due to plane wavefront is only 1/4 of the intensity due to the first of period June. So intensity at a point P due to the whole plane wavefront is proportional to 1/4 of the square of the intensity at a point P due to the first of period June. Even if an obstacle of very small dimension, such as a pinhead placed in the path of light, it cuts off a large number of period zones and produces practically a dark shadow at a point P. It given the idea that light travels in a straight line. Thus, Fresnel explained the rectilinear propagation of light. So, in this class, we have discussed about the concept of off-period zones. Then what about their intensity? then amplitude and so on. Thank you.